Here's how to use automation for your law firm's growth. Hi, I'm Ryan Gray from Law Firm Marketing Hub, and we live in the age of AI. It's taking over, it is everywhere, it's being used, at least by smart people, and it's saving a lot of time. Now, do we want to use AI for everything? Of course not. I heard of a case recently where someone relied entirely on AI, and the AI actually made everything up. There was this hilarious situation where they presented this case, and it was all too perfect, and it's because it was based on made-up information. Now, not all automation is AI-based. The secret sauce, the thing that unlocks a life of freedom and revenue and scale and having an amazing law firm without you having to run the entire thing yourself. Obviously, not all automation is digital. Some can be people-based. Certain processes, certain procedures, that kind of thing can be automated because they're the same thing over and over. And we obviously want to automate as many of these processes that happen repeatedly as much as possible, because that's going to be the key for law firm freedom. Now, the first principle is that time is money. And the question is how much time and how much of your team's time is being wasted on these constant repetitive tasks that could be automated. Same emails that are sent, the same reminders, the same follow-up, the same things over and over and over. Can they be automated? And to what extent? Can the entire process be automated or parts of it? Because to the extent that you can automate a procedure, the more that you'll actually reclaim your team's time and your own time. Now, in order to have a successful firm, you need to have consistency. Consistency is key. Consistency is really the thing that builds, it compounds, and it produces bigger and better results over time. If you're able to take the error-prone, the human error out of the situation, you're able to get a lot more leverage and a lot more consistent experience for your clients. Now, humans are naturally prone to errors and mistakes and fatigue and that kind of thing, and they need time off. And that's fair enough because they are human and they do have to be treated like a member of the team. But at the same time, we also want to be able to implement something that doesn't have errors, that doesn't create issues, and that doesn't create additional work. Really, what we need is an automation that produces the same result every time. It becomes a predictable machine. Because if your law firm is a predictable machine, then you know that money in on one side equals money out on the other. It's cash into marketing, cash into the sales process, cash into more staff equals a certain amount of profit on the back end. Now, the way to do that is to automate as much as possible, to use software, to use videos to explain the things that your staff and you actually say again and explain again and again and again to the same clients. If you can automate that, if you can put together a series of videos, for example, and cover off your top 10 or top 15 questions, then your clients can actually turn up more educated, ready to buy, instead of asking those same questions over and over. And you can get to the real meat during your consultations rather than answering those surface level questions, which are all legitimate concerns, but they're the same thing over and over. And in order to showcase your expertise, you really need to be able to go deep quickly during those initial consultations. And scalability is the goal. You can take on a lot more clients because you know that that experience is going to be consistent. Now, if that consistency breaks, that's when you start getting different results. It's when you start getting unhappy clients. And as much as we all love to think that we want to be as human as possible, we want to have that human interaction, where we actually do that in the process can be pushed further down the line. We don't need to have as many human hours input into the front end of the legal process, because we can automate the lead generation, we can automate the initial education, we can automate covering objections, we can automate all these wonderful things, and then we can spend the human hours doing the real work with the client and getting them the real results, because you can't automate the actual delivery of the service. You have to go to court, you have to sit face-to-face or camera-to-camera if it's an online meeting, and the client might need to cry into your shoulder or explain how painful their problem is or whatever it is. You have to have the human element, but you can automate a lot of the process to get to that point where you and your team can focus on the money work instead of focusing on those repetitive processes that are still required in every business because, let's face it, the boring work is the money work. It's that consistency, as we've already discussed, because if you can repeat the same successful practice again and again and again, it's essentially a license to print money. Scary as some of the AI stuff might be, it can be used for good and should be used for good. And in terms of automation, which is not always AI based, you can 100% use that to automate a lot of the front end functions in your firm, where it could be around lead generation, it could be around front end education. So you've got clients turning up in a better headspace, more ready to receive your expert advice. So I hope that helps. I'm looking forward to seeing you soon.